He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble.
Are those the new Joes, Destro?
Yes, Commander.
Who's on the watchtower?
That's the Jungle Trooper. Codename Macondo.
And manning the howitzer?
That's the Flamethrower. Codename Blowtorch. And the Halo Jumper. Codename Ripcord.
Who's by the bivouac?
That's the Dog Handler. Codename Mutt. And his dog Jump Dog.
They've not seen the last of Cobra.
Watchtower, Howitzer, Bivouac, and G.I. Joe figures each sold separately from Hasbro.
What's up, Joe fans? Welcome back, and welcome to part 3 of my 3-part 1984 G.I. Joe Battle Station series. Now, in the first video, we took a deep dive into the 1984 Bivouac. Of course, in the second video, we looked at the very mobile and deadly Mountain Howitzer. And in today's video, we're going to wrap up the series by looking at the 1984 G.I. Joe Watchtower. Now, just like the other two battle stations in this series, the Bivouac and Mountain Howitzer, the Watchtower unfortunately didn't make any comic book or cartoon appearances. And again, that's a real shame due to the realistic nature of this battle station. Now, even though this is a narrow battle station, you can see it's rather tall, and I actually had to move the camera back just so we can get a full view of what's going on here. I'm going to put the blueprint on screen and we'll go over this step by step and piece by piece. The first thing we're going to take a look at is this right here, the flagpole. Get this in nice and close. And it's got a great design and the actual G.I. Joe motto on this side and the Oh Glory sticker on this side. Now the funny thing about this, they actually reused the same flagpole for the USS Flag aircraft carrier. This one being in the gray color. And if I flip it over, you can see that it has the same motto and they omitted the yellow frame around the border of the flag. Now that we looked at the flag, I'm going to put this aside, and this gives me an opportunity to bring the Watchtower in close to the camera so we can get a better look at all the details. The first thing you'll notice is right here is a panel with rivets around it, so that tells me this is made out of an armor. And you can see the pillbox peekaboo lookout right there on top. Now, while we're looking on this side, you can actually remove these green sandbags on top. You can see the fantastic detail on this, and of course this has the flag hole on it. And when I flip it over, you can see there's two peg ports that go on these pegs right here. Now, oddly enough, these things don't generally fit on here well, but I really lucked out with this copy because these snap on here nice and clean. Let's go ahead and rotate it around to this side. And looking at the blueprints, they're actually calling this the 7.62mm general purpose mini machine gun on top up here. I'll take this off and we'll get a nice close look at this. And you can see it just has a basic clip on the bottom and some really nice detail on both sides of this thing. Now, if this looks familiar to you, this also is a reused part from the 1983 G.I. Joe Headquarters Command Center. Again, it's the same exact mold, except this one's in green and this one's in gray. And of course, this just clips onto the top rail of the actual Watchtower. One small drawback, though, is once it's up there, it's stationary, so it doesn't pivot left or right. Alright, let's take a look at this side of the actual battle station. Here you can see it actually has a ladder going up to the hatch door. And I'll stick my finger in here and pop the door open so you can see this is an actual working door. There's not a lot of space here, but you can pretend to get the Joes up the ladder and into the actual Watchtower. And this just adds one more play feature to this battle station. Alright, I'm going to close this door up and we're going to take a look at the final side of this Watchtower. So let me pivot this around. And here you can see another armor-plated side right here with a pillbox. And according to the blueprints, they're calling this the Tungsten Spotlight. Now, just like the mini machine gun on the other side, this just clips to the top rail of the Watchtower. We'll take this off and get a close look at it. Here you can see the clip on the bottom and all the great detail of the face of this and on the back. And again, if this actually looks familiar to you, this is another reused part from the 1983 G.I. Joe Headquarters. Of course, the obvious differences being the color. One is in green and one is in gray. Now, of course, this just clips back on top of the watchtower, and just like the machine gun, it stands stationary and doesn't pivot. Now, as I tip this up, I brought in some extra light so you can see all the details inside, and there you can see the diamond-plated floor. There's a set of wire cutters that somebody left behind, and up in the corner there's an additional ammo box. Now, what I find really curious about this battle station is you'll notice there's no foot pegs for any of the figures. And just like the previous two battle stations, Hasbro really put a lot of detail in this battle station. Now, just like depicted on the beautiful box art, here you can see Roadblock manning the machine gun, and Gung Ho climbing up the ladder. Now, there's no question that these battle stations look absolutely beautiful with these vintage Joe counterparts. And if you're a modern Joe collector, rest assured, all these battle stations look equally as beautiful displaying your modern Joes next to them. Whether they're climbing the ladder or manning the machine gun, these things fit in here perfectly. There's nothing like having a little bit of height advantage to see those incoming sneaky Cobras, from the machine gun up top to the tungsten spotlight on the back, to find those Cobras sneaking in the grass. Cobra would be hard pressed to try to sneak up on this battle station. And if you're a G.I. Joe photographer and like to take pictures of your dios, this thing would look absolutely fantastic in the background. Well, Joe fans, this is going to conclude my 3-part video series of the 1984 G.I. Joe battle stations. Whether you're a fan of the Watchtower, Mountain Howitzer, or Bivouac, all three of these offer some really fantastic details and tons of imagination and playability. I can't emphasize enough just how fantastic these battle stations are. Now, yes, there is a lot of little pieces to gather up to complete them, but once you have one of these, if not all three in your collection, you won't be sorry. I'd really love to hear your thoughts and actually hear which one of these is your favorite, if not all three. Of course, thank you for watching, and if you like what you see, join the community. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and bell for future notification of upcoming videos. And, most importantly, always help a fellow collector out and share your knowledge.
Yo, yo!